Okay, for this video I'm going to show you BNC cables, various BNC cables, and show you how to connect them to various sources or to other equipment like function generators. The first cable is a cable with male BNC connectors on both ends. This is the top view of the male BNC connector. This is a side view showing sort of a notch that's used to make like a twist lock connection to the oscilloscope. There's two nubs at the top and bottom of the oscilloscope BNC connector that protrude out, and you have to line the connector on the cable up to those and then make a twist lock connection. You line it up and then twist it to the right. Then for one example, you can connect the other end of the BNC cable to the BNC connector like on a function generator. Then once again, it's a twist lock connection that you use to connect the BNC cable to the BNC connector on the function generator. This is a simple example of connecting an oscilloscope to another piece of equipment that has a BNC connector. The next connector has a male BNC connector on one end and two banana plugs on the other end. That's not very common. It's only used for older oscilloscopes with banana plugs. You can connect the banana plugs to the input of an older oscilloscope and use the other end to connect to other more modern equipment. This connector is pretty rare. You wouldn't have much use for it except once in a while. It's a splitter cable. It has one male connector on one side and then it splits into two male connectors on the other side. The next connector has a male BNC connector on one side and two alligator clips on the other end of the cable to connect to a source signal. For example, you can connect the male end of the BNC cable to the oscilloscope and then come down to, let's say, a breadboard circuit and connect the alligator clips to two jumper wires coming out of the breadboard circuit that have this output for the signal. So that's how you can connect the oscilloscope to a breadboard circuit. There's also a thing that's close to an alligator clip, but instead of an alligator clip, it's a hook clamp. And you push on it, and it has a little hook so you can clamp on. Instead of like clamping on with the alligator clip, you clamp on with the end of this clip. I don't have one handy, but there are BNC cables with a male BNC connector on one end and two of these hook type clamps on the other end instead of alligator clips. These two special connectors are a male BNC connector to a male RCA phono plug and also a female BNC connector to a female RCA phono jack. Instead of always having wires, these two connectors could come in handy sometime. Now I'm going to show you how to connect the oscilloscope directly to an Atari Punk console. The Atari Punk console has a 1/4 inch phono jack. I have another special adapter that goes directly from a 1/4 inch plug to a female RCA phono jack. And I also have a cable with two male phono plugs on both ends. So now I line up the connector with the male phono plug on one end of the cable and then squeeze them together. So now that connection is made, and I can put the phono plug into the jack on the Atari Punk console. Okay, now the Atari Punk console is connected to the phono plug, the 1/4" phono plug, and that's connected to the cable, and the other end of the cable is another male phono plug. Now I have another special adapter cable that has a male BNC connector on one end and a female phono jack on the other end. So now the female phono jack is connected to the other end of the male cable that was coming out of the Atari Punk console. And then the last step is to connect the male end of the BNC connector to the oscilloscope. So now the oscilloscope is connected to the Atari Punk console. That concludes this lesson on oscilloscope cables and connectors and adapters and how to connect the oscilloscope to a few different things.